The rain was back again. I could hear it, soft, insistent, tapping against glass like a ghost knocking to be let inside. Only problem was, I didn't have a window anymore. Not since the accident. My name's Caleb Bryant. I used to be a photographer. I lived in a quiet little town in Oregon with my wife Elise. We had a simple 2-story house. White paint peeling in corners, a wraparound porch that creaked underfoot, and a window right beside our bed that looked out onto the evergreens. Every night, we'd fall asleep to the rhythm of the rain on that window. It was peaceful, soothing even, until it became something else. It started the night of the crash. It was just after midnight. Elise and I were driving home from a dinner party. I was behind the wheel. The roads were slick, visibility was awful, and I should have pulled over, but I didn't. She was laughing at something I said when I saw the headlights. Truck wrong side of the road. I swerved. Tires screamed. Then came the crunch of metal, the shatter of glass, and a deafening silence that followed. When I woke up, I was in the hospital. Tubes down my throat, one eye swollen shut, ribs cracked, arm in a cast. But Elise was gone. They told me she died on impact. I asked about the house, about our room, the window. The nurse gently told me there was nothing left. The fire had consumed everything. The crash sparked something electrical. Our car had slammed into a power pole before flipping into the ditch. The house had caught fire minutes later. They said it was a miracle I survived. After the funeral, I moved into a small apartment in the city. 5th floor. No balcony. No porch. No windows, just drywall where glass used to be. It was temporary, I told myself. Just until I could walk again without the cane. Until I figured out what to do next. Elise's sister handled the insurance and legal stuff. I signed papers I don't remember. My head was still full of morphine and grief. But then, the tapping started. It was soft at first. Barely audible. I thought it was in my head. Some phantom echo of the old house. I ignored it. But the second week it came back. Always around midnight. A rhythmic tapping like rain on glass. But there was no glass. The wall beside my bed was solid. Painted over where there once was a window. Touched it. Cold. Ill. But the sound persisted. I asked my upstairs neighbor if they heard anything weird. She looked at me like I was nuts. No rain this week, she said. It's been dry for days. I checked the weather app. She was right. Not even a drizzle. Yet every night, at exactly 12:07 a.m. I heard it. I tried sleeping with music. White noise. Earplugs. It didn't matter. The tapping cut through all of it. One night, I stayed up with a voice recorder. I placed it on the nightstand and waited. Midnight came. Then 12:07. The tapping began. It lasted about 15 seconds. Like fingers drumming on glass. Next morning I played the recording. Nothing. Just silence. Not even the ambient hum of my air purifier. Checked the mic. It worked fine when I tested it. But when I tried again the next night, same result. The tapping came, but the recording stayed blank. I started to wonder if something followed me from the wreck. Called my therapist. She said it could be auditory hallucinations, trauma-related. Maybe PTSD. That kind of thing happens after accidents, especially with survivor's guilt. She offered to up my meds. I declined. It wasn't in my head. I knew that. Then one night I had a dream. Or maybe it was something else. In the dream I was back in our old bedroom. Rain hammered against the window. Elise was lying next to me, asleep. I reached out to touch her, but my hand passed right through. Then the window shattered. A black shape crawled through, faceless and long-limbed. It moved to Elise and whispered something in her ear. She turned to me and said, "You brought it back." I woke up gasping, drenched in sweat. My bed was soaked like I'd been standing in the rain. But the ceiling hadn't leaked. The roof was fine. My phone said 12:08 a.m. That was when I decided to seal the wall. Called in a contractor. Told him I didn't want drywall. I wanted concrete. I wanted it thick, sealed, impenetrable. He didn't ask questions. Took the job. 2 days later, the wall was solid, smooth gray cement. That night, the tapping got louder. I woke up to find my bed moved 2 feet from the wall. My fingers were wet. I turned on the lamp. There were streaks, like handprints, on the concrete, as if someone had dragged their fingers through condensation. Only it hadn't rained in over a week. The next day, I booked a room at a hotel, one of those tall downtown buildings with full glass windows. I thought if I changed my surroundings, it would stop. Didn't. The first night, I heard the tapping again. But this time, it wasn't coming from a wall. Came from the window. The real window. I stared at it, heart pounding. Rain poured down the glass, even though my weather app said it was clear. I leaned closer, squinting through the darkness. That's when I saw her, Elise, standing outside the 5th floor window, looking in. Her hair was soaked, her eyes hollow. She mouthed something I couldn't hear. I backed away, tripping over my shoes, slamming into the wall. When I looked again, she was gone. And the rain had stopped. I checked out the next morning. I started researching similar stories. Online forums, paranormal threads, even obscure Reddit groups. Some people talked about echo hauntings, where trauma leaves behind energy that repeats itself. Others warned about spirits hitching rides during near-death experiences. One post mentioned window walkers, entities that can only reach us through glass, feeding on grief, finding cracks between dimensions. Sounded insane. But I wasn't sleeping. I wasn't eating. I barely left the apartment. Then one night I heard more than tapping. Voice. Feminine. Caleb. It was coming from the wall. The cement wall. I pressed my ear to it. Why did you leave me? I screamed and ran out of the room. That night I slept in my car. I didn't care that it was cold or that people stared. I just needed to be away from walls and windows and rain. In the morning, I visited the site of our old house. It was overgrown. Nothing but a slab of scorched foundation and wild grass. I walked around, remembering the layout. Kitchen here. Bedroom there. I found the corner where the window once was. I swear I could still see the outline of the frame. Then I heard it. Turn slowly. No one was there. But when I looked down at the old foundation, I saw something I can't explain. There, in the concrete, were wet footprints. Bare, small like Elise's. They started from the middle of the room and led right to the edge, stopping where the window used to be. Ran. I went back to the apartment and packed everything. Told the landlord I was leaving. Didn't even ask for my deposit. I moved across the country to Arizona. Dry desert. No rain. No windows in my new place. Just 4 walls and a roof. It worked. For a while. 3 months passed. No tapping. No voices. No dreams. I started freelancing again. Took some portraits, even smiled once or twice. Then one night, as I was brushing my teeth, I heard it. Froze. Walked out of the bathroom. The living room wall had a damp spot. Just one. And next to it, etched in faint water lines, was a handprint. The next day, I found an envelope in my mailbox. No return address. Inside was a single photograph. One I didn't take. It showed Elise, standing in front of a foggy window. Her expression was unreadable. Behind her, a shadow loomed. There was a note on the back. Let me in. I burned the photo. Moved again. Got a job at a storage facility, working nights. No windows there either. Just metal doors and concrete. Sometimes I think I can hear the tapping through the vents. They say grief follows you, but I think something else came with me. Something that wears Elise's face and knows where I sleep. Sometimes I catch my reflection in the darkened monitor screens at work. And for a second, I see a flash of her behind me. Wet hair. Hollow eyes. Last night, a customer came in to rent a unit. He was pale, nervous, and said he needed a place to lock something away. Asked what? He said, "It taps on the window." But I don't have a window anymore. My blood ran cold. I didn't say anything. Just handed him the key. Maybe whatever's haunting me isn't just mine. Maybe it's something bigger. Something older. Something looking for cracks, emotional or physical. And maybe the only way to keep it out is to never, ever look toward the tapping. 'Cause once you do, it remembers you. And it always finds a way back in. Even when there's no window anymore.